How nice is it to have football back? Now, I tweeted last week that one of the most nervous times for any football player is going to be their first preseason game. Making the jump from college to the pros, the speed changes a little bit, a lot of pressure as you're playing for a job for the first time, right? This is your livelihood. So there's a lot of nerves that go into it, and it takes time to settle in, to slow the game down. So I don't read too much into these first preseason games. But one of the first questions that people always have as we get into preseason is, let's take a look at the drafted quarterbacks and let me know what you saw in their first action. So we're going to try to see if we can pull anything from what they did in college, and we see early glimpses of that in the National Football League. So today we're going to look at the top two picks, CJ Stroud and also Bryce Young, of course, who was the #1 overall pick. We're going to dive into the small sample size that we have of their first preseason game and just kind of see where they're at this point with about 3-4 weeks to go until their first game action. All right, we're going to start here with CJ Stroud of the Houston Texans. So I like the first little play call that the Texans use right here. You always want to give your quarterback something easy to start with. So as we roll it here, okay, we're going to see a play that we simply call double out. Okay, so it's easy for the quarterback. It's really just pick a side. So we're going to run outs on the outside. We're going to run sticks on the inside, and then your back's going to go over the ball. So you pick a side. Best look side. You go to a certain player that you like, but it really is 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3. So I want to see CJ get back and read it outside in, get set to the outside guy and let the ball go. All right, so the first thing I noticed, he's a little bit hesitant as he comes back. A little bit of a hitch there. This ball should be coming out to this outside out route right now. Hit the back foot, ball's out, and then you recover back inside. Looks like CJ looks inside first and then back outside, and so you see he's late getting the ball. This guy's almost stopped on the boundary, but he gets it to the right guy, he makes the right read, and these are some of the things that you're going to see for young guys as they're getting into the National Football League. Everything's going a little bit fast, right? Trying to see it, trying to slow it down, but it's hard to do. So a little impatient in the pocket, the read, a little bit off there, but good thing is first pass finds the right guy. All right, this is the one everybody's talking about, the interception that he throws. Okay, so again, just like we saw on the first play, we had mirrored routes. We had outs on both sides, so the concept was the same on both sides. You're going to see a lot of that also with young guys, as we're going to give them concepts where it's really just pick a side. So here, we're going to run what we call a 7-stop. So we're going to fake like we're running the corner, and we're going to run a stop, and we're going to run somebody to the flat. We're going to run a 7-stop down here, and we're going to run somebody to the flat, and then our guy down the middle is either going to take the middle or possibly read and turn it into an in route there. Okay, so another one where it's pick a side. What are we looking for? What we're looking for is corners off. Okay, so both corners are soft, so both sides are available. So when that happens, we're going to end up reading the underneath defender to each side, kind of a high-low to each side. All right, so it's pick a side. Now we got to watch the structure of the defense. Okay, so the structure of the defense, what happens? Okay, now this is a little bit tough. Okay, so again, we got to look at the whole picture for these young quarterbacks, right? We could ask ourselves, is this a quarters coverage where that guy's playing a deep fourth, okay, meaning this safety right playing a deep fourth, or are they rotating this to what we would call a middle close kind of cover 3 defense where this guy's dropping into Rob? Okay, I think that's what's happening here. Is you see the distance between these two guys, the depth of one much deeper. The guy on the top is working towards the middle, and so that's what's happening. Is they're running this and they're letting this safety right there kind of lurk in his position. Okay, so he's kind of robbing or lurking in that area. Everybody else seems to be playing man-to-man coverage. So as a quarterback, what we're going to come to is we're going to come back and look, and knowing we've got guys going to the flat, we're going to pick a side, and I would probably pick away from this safety because that safety is in a much better position to steal that 7-stop. and there's really nobody underneath this other than the guy that has to cover the flat. So probably better going back to the left side. But again, it's a pick 'em. You don't really know. Maybe he's not really sure what that safety's giving him. I get that. And so now we're just going to read it out to the front side. When I read it out to the front side, I just have to be able to see that robber type player, safety sitting right there, and the throw probably should go to the flat here. But you see what he sees. What he sees is his receiver beating the corner right there. He sees that. That's where he's going to go with the football. He just wasn't able to locate this safety right here. Again, things are moving fast. Picking a side, reading to the outside. We don't see all the bodies, and that's what ultimately leads to this interception right here. I even think that this safety is actually just coming down, and he's going to cover the flat. Just so happens that the timing was perfect, that the ball hit him right in the numbers as he's driving to that flat. Otherwise, this is probably a completion right here. But little things that CJ's going to get better at seeing and understanding when the game slows down for him. Okay, I like this right here. Okay, so he's got a hot situation. Now, I'm not a big fan. Okay, so here's what happens quite often. Okay, so we've got basically 5 guys going out. So this back isn't blocking. He's going to go out right now. So what a lot of teams will do is they'll slide their protection the other way. Okay, so just I want to count these for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so we've got 6 guys right here. We've only got 5 guys blocking. So what they'll do is they'll say, since the back is releasing, we're going to slide the other direction. Okay, so the offensive line will end up blocking 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and they leave somebody free on the backside as the hot guy. Now, I would much rather slide the other direction, even though my back's coming out, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let this guy here on the front side be hot because I've got 3 receivers over there, and it's tougher for a defense to cover those hots. I tell you all that because Houston slid this direction here, so they leave this guy, a defensive end, free on CJ Stroud. Okay? What makes it hard is that he's got to throw it hot, that guy's coming free, and it's easier for a defense to be able to cover that. They just simply have to drop a safety down. We've only got one guy that can be a hot force right here. CJ's doing exactly the right thing. He's got to get it out. He's got to throw it hot. But you see how hard it is. I got to throw it up over a defensive end, try to make it and get it to the back quickly. Even if we complete that right there, that back is blown up. It's just so much easier to cover the hot when you slide to the 3 receiver side. Much harder for them to be able to cover all 3 guys front side if they bring pressure. So to me, I'm always a guy that wants to protect the backside. I want to give my hot to the 3 receiver side where I've got more options for the quarterback to get the ball out of his hands. But good decision there by CJ to get the hot out and give their guy a chance, but not take the sack right there, but just a tough look for him on that one. All right, next one here. Really no chance right here. Okay, so this ends up being an incompletion right here, but really this is the best play possible. We get quick pressure, nothing really develops. Now it's just don't make a bad play worse, don't take the sack, knows where his outlet is, which is one of the hardest things for a young guy. Know where your outlet is, just get the ball out of your hands and throw it away. Okay, really well done right here. Coming on the naked. Okay, what we normally have on nakeds is we're going to have somebody going to the corner. We're going to have somebody going to the flat. In this particular case, it's a receiver going to the flat. We get an over, and then we have what we call a trail right here. So we come out, and we're always really kind of looking for the flat. Peek that deep one over the top, and then we're back inside to one of these 2 guys right here. So nice job right here off the naked. gets his head turned, even though he slips a little bit there. Nice job turning his hips and getting it to his first guy right there, getting the completion on the sideline. Nice little throw, easy completion, get him out of the game. All right, let's dive into Bryce Young now. Okay, so CJ, game was moving a little bit fast for him. They got him a couple easy completions. Nice for the first preseason game. Things to learn from. All right, now Bryce, come out early, trying to get him an easy completion. So what do we see right here? Very similar to what we saw with CJ. Okay, so now this is called stick. So we're going to go flat, stick. So very similar to what they did with CJ right off the bat. Then we're going to work back and make this kind of a pure progression. So it's really just 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the flat out the other side, 5. So we're not going to make him think too much, try to figure out what the coverage is. Just come out and read your pure progression here. So he comes out, okay, covered, covered. Okay, now let's work back to this defender right here. This defender sitting back to take away that in. There's your throw right there. Nice job by CJ working through it, working through his progression. That's one thing that we saw at Alabama, his ability to be able to see the field, work through progressions, get the ball out of his hands, and taking a hit, which is going to be another big question that a lot of people have is at his size, can he take the different hits? So he takes a hit on his first throw, okay? I like this one as well, okay? So we're going to come out here and we're going to have a couple different things going on. So here we've got a one-on-one, what we call a locked hitch. He's going to run 6 yards and stop. On the other side, we're going to run something similar to what we just saw. Little hook right there, little hitch right here. And so now we get to pick a side. If we get one-on-one, we can go up here. And this is what I like about what Bryce does. Make the game as simple as possible, as quickly as possible. If you can get a one-on-one where you don't have to read a bunch of bodies and figure all that out, go take your one-on-one and make the game easier. It's exactly what he does right here. Sees the rotation down of the safety, knows he's got one-on-one. I like the timing. I like the throw. Get back, know where you want to go with the football. Boom, take it out. Now, the only thing that I would say for young quarterbacks out there, okay, is notice press up here, off coverage down here. So he's going to have a hitch down here as well. So never wrong going to that one-on-one. You like the matchup, all of that. We get the completion, but making the game easier, surveying the whole field. I got a hitch down here to the bottom with off coverage. Always going to be an easier completion than trying to throw a locked hitch with press coverage, but that's for another day and something to learn from. But nice throw, nice decision, knows what he wants to do and gets the ball out of his hands. Okay, so here we see the same idea again, okay? So we're going to run this here, and we've got a go route on the bottom. What am I looking at? I'm looking to see if I can get my one-on-one down here and take a peek at it. If I like it, great, take the throw. Otherwise, I'm going to go from here and then recover to these guys coming my direction. Back's going to go there, and then we're going to work. So giving him pure progression stuff where it's not so much read the coverage, know what's going on defensively. Hey, it's come out, go through your progressions, see what you see, and make quick decisions. Here, does a nice job of eyeing this safety. The safety turns his hips back to this direction. Okay, that means no help here to the go route. I'm going to go take my one-on-one again. Like the decision. Just a little bit flat on the throw. Like to see it on this. If he's going to take the go route, throw the go route. Okay, throw it up and over. You've got the safety to move over there. Put that ball up in the air and let your guy, give your guy a chance to go get it. But once again, like the play call, simplifying it for Bryce and his decision to go find his one-on-one and get the ball out of his hands. All right. Now a little bit of a tough look right here that Bryce gets, okay? So he's got, this becomes more of a full field read. So he's going to have a play that we call under over here. This is a too high read when I've only got one defender underneath, but you're going to notice two defenders underneath. So we're going to cross this side off. And if we get that kind of look, we've got a play over here that I call popcorn, flat, pop, and a corner. Okay, so we're going to come over here and we're going to read the flat defender. Now, this is where I said it was a bit of a tough read for Bryce right here, because this looks like it's supposed to be a middle close defense, which means this corner should be back playing a deep third. So with that happening, we're going to read the flat defender, who's the safety coming down, and we're going to go 1 to 2, and then this corner is just a happening 3. Don't really like to play that much because the corner doesn't really give us many advantages. But you'll see on this play that Bryce comes out, does a nice job seeing that safety, and that safety is way back here. He's expecting the corner to drop deep. Go take your flat right now. Good decision. Now, a lot of people might look at this and go, oh my gosh, the corner came down and he's the one that makes the tackle right there, and this corner route is wide open. But I'm going to sit back and say that was the right decision by Bryce. He's expecting that corner to do his job and to drop deep, as he should. He's got all kinds of space. First read is a flat. Get the ball out. Let your playmaker make a play. Okay, so this is another one of those decisions that maybe I question a little bit. And again, these are just things I don't know what's in the room. But you'll notice that they're going to run kind of a locked hitch or a stop, and a locked hitch or a stop on both sides. Okay, so only reason I say this is because I wonder why he chose the throw to the field. For me, shorter throw is always the easier throw. Now, maybe it's a matchup thing. Maybe they talked about it ahead of time. But to me, we're on the backside hash. I get the exact same look on both sides. As long as I feel good about both matchups, rather go to the short side. Just an easier throw across the board. So you see right here, right? It's the same kind of relationship for both of these guys. So you're really just picking a side. I just like the shorter throw. Makes it a little bit easier to be accurate. Misses this throw a little bit high and to the outside. But to me, another pick 'em. Everything's the same on both sides. Pick a side. He chose the field. Just happened to miss this throw. Okay, so we're going to have this same concept up top. Popcorn, hook, swing. Okay, he's got the corner off. So if he wanted to, he could read to the top, read this outside defender right here. Let's take a look at that first. Okay, and if he did that, this guy gets width, probably hitting that hook again right here. Now, I always like to teach during preseason. I'd love to see this hook defender get a little bit more width here on this play, because what we're really trying to do is we're trying to isolate this defender. We don't want this Mike backer to be able to take away the hook. You'll notice on this hook how that guy comes a little bit inside. So again, he's open, but he allows this guy to cover that and this guy to cover the swing if it were to happen. I'd like to see this guy push out a little bit farther with width, still stay inside of that guy, but he creates more space away from that guy. So if he was going to that side, which he could have, no problem right there, probably hits the hook right now for a completion. Instead, he comes down here to the bottom. Okay, so the bottom we have a play that we call wrap. Okay, so what that means is we're going to run the inside guy on a hook right here, and the other guy is going to wrap the in up over the top of him after that. Now, the reason I don't really like coming down to the bottom as much, because once again, you notice we've got two defenders against two receivers. So if this safety comes down and takes away the hook, the other defender is in position to be able to take away the wrap right there. So it can sometimes come open and you can still hit it back here, but two defenders against two receivers gives the defense the advantage. I like the route up top a little bit better, but nonetheless, Bryce sees that safety come down late. Boom. Soon as that hook turns, go get yourself a completion. Not mad at this. Bang, ball's out of his hands. We're getting a completion on first down and we're rolling. Okay, first real shot down the field. Okay, so we're going to run double post. Boom, boom. and then we're going to run what I call shove, which is a shallow and an over. Okay, so we get this, always have a chance to peek this double post if you like it right off the bat, but more times than not, it's going to become a read off of this defender, and we're going to go high-low with the over and the shallow right here. So as we run this thing through, nice job just kind of sliding to his left. Okay, I like the decision right here as he comes down, right? He reads that flat defender, and the flat defender turns his hips right there, settles his hips right here. I like the read to make this throw. Now we either drive this throw into this hole, or we have to set this thing up over the top, let him run under it. But like the decision right here, I like the slide. Just again, a little bit too much touch on it, or maybe he expected his receiver to be a little bit deeper, because I like where he's throwing this football, but maybe he just tried to throw his guy open. Hey, you're going flat, see if we can get you at a little higher angle, and if we do, we possibly have a completion right there. But again, I like the slide, I like the decision, just a little bit errant on the throw. All right, so there's a good look at both of the young quarterbacks, both for the Texans and for the Panthers. Okay, so you could see game moving a little bit fast, missing throws that they normally would make in college, which is a natural thing that happens as you get into the NFL. Just things happen a little bit differently. You're not quite as comfortable. I think those things are going to come. CJ Stroud, again, missed that deep safety dropping in, which I get it. He's looking, he sees it, it's 3rd and long. I'm just going to rip it down the field. Boom, just happens to fall into that interception as that safety's driving on the flat. Other than that, some quick throws, getting the ball out of his hands, just kind of breaking him in easy. But you can see the game moving a little bit fast for him. Bryce, thought Bryce did a good job of seeing it and getting the ball out of his hands, right? Knowing what he wanted to see. Now, he missed a couple throws that we saw him make in college. I expect him to make as he works through things and he gets into the season. But I like to see the translation of things moving fast, him making quick decisions, him knowing what he was looking at, and getting the ball out of his hands. So, again, wasn't perfect for either one of these guys. Didn't expect it to be, but we saw some of the things that we wanted to see, and there's a lot of really good things in there from both of these guys that they can build off of.